The conflict in Sudan has been ongoing for several years, and it has its roots in ethnic and political tensions that have plagued the country for decades. The current conflict began in 2019 when the Sudanese people took to the streets to protest against the government of President Omar al-Bashir. The protesters were demanding political reform, an end to corruption, and greater economic opportunities. The protests were met with violence from the government, and the situation escalated into a full-blown civil war. The government was eventually overthrown in a coup in 2021, but this did not bring an end to the conflict. Instead, it led to a power struggle between various factions within the military, leading to further violence and instability. The conflict in Sudan has taken a heavy toll on the people of the country, with thousands of civilians killed and millions more displaced. The conflict has also had a significant impact on neighboring countries, including Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Egypt. The ongoing violence has led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of people and has created a humanitarian crisis in the region. One of the main factors contributing to the conflict in Sudan is the country's long history of ethnic and religious divisions. The country is home to over 500 different ethnic groups, and there is a deep divide between the Arab Muslim population in the north and the Black African population in the south. The conflict in Sudan has also been exacerbated by external factors, including interference from neighboring countries and the involvement of international actors. The conflict has been fueled by the competition for resources, including water and oil, as well as geopolitical rivalries. The international community has been working to try and resolve the conflict in Sudan, but so far, efforts have been unsuccessful. The United Nations has deployed peacekeeping forces to the country, but they have been unable to halt the violence. Diplomatic efforts are ongoing, but the situation on the ground remains unstable. Humanitarian crisis. The conflict in Sudan has created a humanitarian crisis with millions of people in need of assistance. The fighting has disrupted food supplies, destroyed infrastructure, and caused widespread displacement. According to the United Nations, there are over 4 million people in need of humanitarian assistance, including 2.5 million children. The humanitarian crisis has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has made it more difficult to deliver aid to those in need. Peace talks. There have been several rounds of peace talks to try and resolve the conflict in Sudan. The talks have been facilitated by the African Union and have involved various stakeholders, including the government, rebel groups, and civil society organizations. Despite some progress, a lasting peace agreement has yet to be reached. Rebel groups. There are several rebel groups involved in the conflict in Sudan. The largest of these is the Sudanese Liberation Movement, Army, SLM-A, which is active in the Darfur region. Other groups include the Sudan People's Liberation Movement North, SPLMN, which is active in the Blue Nile and South Kordofan states, and the Sudan Liberation Forces Alliance, SLFA, which is active in the Jebel Mara region. Neighboring countries. The conflict in Sudan has had a significant impact on neighboring countries. Ethiopia has been particularly affected, with thousands of refugees fleeing across the border to escape the violence. The conflict has also had an impact on South Sudan, which gained independence from Sudan in 2011 after decades of conflict. The two countries have had a tense relationship since South Sudan's independence, and the ongoing conflict in Sudan has heightened tensions between the two nations. International actors. The conflict in Sudan has attracted the attention of international actors, including the United States, China, and Russia. The United States has been particularly active in trying to resolve the conflict, imposing sanctions on individuals and entities that are deemed to be obstructing the peace process. China and Russia have been more supportive of the Sudanese government, with both countries providing economic and military assistance. Economic impact. The conflict in Sudan has had a significant impact on the country's economy. The disruption of oil production and exports has led to a decline in government revenues, while the depreciation of the Sudanese pound has led to inflation and a decline in purchasing power. The conflict has also disrupted trade and investment, making it difficult for businesses to operate in the country. The conflict in Sudan is a complex and multifaceted issue that has been ongoing for several years. It has its roots in ethnic and political tensions and has been exacerbated by external factors, including the involvement of neighboring countries and international actors. The conflict has had a significant impact on the people of Sudan and the broader region, leading to the displacement of millions of people and creating a humanitarian crisis. The international community must continue to work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict to ensure the safety and well-being of all those affected. Overall, the conflict in Sudan is a complex issue that has deep historical roots and is intertwined with ethnic, religious, and political tensions. The ongoing violence has created a humanitarian crisis and has had a significant impact on the people of Sudan and neighboring countries. The international community must continue to work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict to ensure the safety and well-being of all those affected. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below.